Welcome to Positive Energy with Crystals. My name is Hillary, and it's time for our March Positive Energy Journal wrap-up. March was hard. There wasn't a lot going on. It just seemed like I wasn't mentally in it. And it's going to show. You're going to notice a big difference. So, the theme for March was dreams. And the prompt was to create a dream board, like a vision board. I didn't do it yet. I will do it. Let's just go ahead. Okay, now remember how my pages are usually full and happy, and February there was a lot going on, and March I used a bunch of stickers as space filler. Totally fine. So like I said, the theme was dreams. The season, spring with an exclamation point. Very happy about spring coming in. Let's come down a little bit so you can see. There we go. The doodle was clouds. So I got some clouds. Can you see my clouds now? I've had my little gnomes. I had some St. Patrick's gnomes. I'm very happy to have my gnome stickers. And one down here. Right away, I knew things were a little off. So I put the sticker one day at a time, and that's the, where you lift it spot. Because I had a feeling, I had plans. I had plans for my dream board. It's going to take up these 2 pages. It still will. I'll just update it when I do it. And so when I was going to pick it up, that's where it was. Or you picked up the page to turn it. But, thanks. So my message for the month, I used my elemental divination, and the dice I rolled were 1, 4, and 5, which is the shaking house, bringing freedom to a stagnant situation. If you have been feeling trapped, will be chance to leap ahead thanks to mental ingenuity. Big things going to happen mentally. Okay, so that was true. The message I really wasn't wanting it as like a divination message. I just want it kind of like a general message, maybe some advice, just something for them, like I don't know, just sort of a special message for the month. This one sort of became a divination message. Big things going to happen mentally. I was so drained mentally in March. It just seemed like there's lots of big things I had to process, and my journal helped a lot. But it's, when you're just so, I don't know, it's hard to explain. You're just so mentally done that stuff like this takes energy. I am so far behind on watching YouTube videos of all my friends and other channels I like to watch, because all I want to do is watch stupid stuff. And with no, not learning anything, no plot, like just people reading Reddit stories was about all I could mentally do that month. So yeah, it was a very mental month. In my pocket, I had Jet, which was the month, or the crystal that I carried for March. Of course, I had my amethyst. I also had Angelite and Apache tears. I took those out yesterday, and I'm not exactly sure why. And I put them away, not just took them out. I think I was just feeling like I needed a break from my Angelite, and because I've been carrying them for so long, since August, when our dog was first diagnosed with cancer. And I think I just felt like I needed a break. So end of March, I put away my Angelite and my Apache tears. And I still have my Angelite bracelet, easy to get to. Yeah, I didn't have that on there. And then I also had my tourmalated quartz. Focus. I had a key charm. I don't know where that ended up. It just fell out of my pocket, or the little bag. When I went to the Spirit Fair, I used my moss agate bracelet. I was expecting, that kind of crazy feeling when you're around large groups of people, or at least when I'm around large groups of people, and my amethyst bracelet for the same reason. I also wore my mixed tiger's eye bracelet, and then I also have had, I should have grabbed it, the lotus stone, that I am doing the Lucky Lotus Stone ritual from the Witching Stones book, that it's in the process of being recorded. It's a multi-week video, so you're going to see lots of different colors of fingernail polish in that video. It's not going to be one through the whole thing. So that's what I had in my pocket for the month. For my gratitude, my husband, and that was supposed to be a cloud heart. Don't think it really worked. Daffodils just, they show up at like the perfect time around here. And I think it was in the February, where I talked about how they just are randomly everywhere in Oklahoma. I'm grateful for spring, green grass, flowering trees, even the stinky ones. I'll explain that a little bit more on the go outside part. Good weather, friends, board games, crafts, the shade, and my Etsy customers. I got a lot of orders here lately. Oh, another one thing. So when I first started off, I did everything in my prompts in green. And then that first week I used this gold colored pen. So it was kind of a gold and green. It looked really cool there for quite a while, especially over here. That was fun. And then I decided to use my purple pen to break up the green. But there for a while it was mostly green and gold, which was a lot of fun. Alright, memories. We went target shooting at the gun range. There's a new casino in the area. We went to a drone show. That was a lot of fun. I started crocheting blankets for some family members. We had some crazy storms. We went crappie fishing in an indoor dock area, and I caught a bass. That was hilarious. Even the other people around us went, "That's a bass." It was hilarious. My frog friends are back. I can't remember, did I tell the story about how we had a frog inside the camper last, like the end of summer? I don't think it was quite fall yet. And didn't realize it was a frog. And then when we finally figured out it was a frog, it wasn't exactly in the greatest shape because he'd been in the camper. And then it hung out on the side of our the skirting that we had for quite a while. Well, he's back. Memories, laughing so hard at a board game I couldn't breathe. That was a, what was the name of the game? Curses? I think it's called Curses. If you've, that game was hilarious. There's a place in town called Pinspirations, and I did an acrylic pour. I will try to remember to put the picture of it here because there's no way I'm going to fit it in this camera angle. But it's like the studio area that you can go in, and they've got like the popular Pinterest themed crafts, and they got all that's the place to do it. There's tons of stuff. But I did an acrylic pour. It was really pretty. I planted the seeds, my seeds for my little garden, that I will share later. Right now it's kind of boring. And the strawberries that survive the winter have flowers. And I am touching up my gnomes, and I'll share them later too. I just recorded a video, and I noticed you could see it looks like there's dirt under my nails, but it's actually paint. Alright, the magic I did for March. So I started off the month with the Home Blessing Simmer Pot from Star. She sent me that, and so I used that instead of my regular just cinnamon stick and whatever else I put in there. I also added the Moonfire essential oil and a candle I got from Selena. So I added those all in one to do the simmer pot. I did the smudge spray. I did a heavy dose of that. And that was before everything started feeling mentally heavy. On the full moon, it was an eclipse and a blood moon, the warm moon. I did moon water and crystal charging. I made some storm water. I got like a mild storm, and then I got a heavy storm. I went to the Spirit Fair, got new decks and crystals. I just recorded that video, and that should have been last week. I started doing the Lotus Stone ritual, which I'm still working on that, recording that video. I reactivated my money bowl, which had been pretty stagnant, and the funny thing is I did that, and like the following week I got a whole bunch of Etsy orders, so that was fun. I crystal infused my seeds and my nail polish. I'm going to do a video about that stuff. And then I did Ostara oil blend on a candle. Go outside. What I saw, lots of daffodils. That was amazing. The grass starting to turn green. Lots of skunk, roadkill, and possums. At night, black vultures. Black vultures are not nice. They're creepy looking. One year, they hung out at the entrance to the RV park area of and I started researching them. They're mean. They will take down a baby calf, and turkey vultures will go after like the roadkill stuff that's already dead. Black vultures will go after small animals, and I don't like them. They're creepy. And luckily we don't see them a lot, but they're here. I saw an eagle again. I saw a bunny. The red buds and the stinky pear trees are blooming. The stinky pear trees, they're an invasive tree. They don't ever actually grow pears. I know they're pretty popular in other areas too. I didn't know, we hadn't seen them until we moved here. But they are so pretty. These white flowers, and they're covered in them, and they're everywhere because they're invasive. Some people add them as landscaping, but when they're blooming, they smell horrible. After they're done blooming, they're fine, but they smell terrible. I wouldn't want one on my property, but they're really, really pretty. And then, of course, the Oklahoma redbud trees are really pretty. And then we also went to the lake, and I love being on the lake. What I heard, birds chirping. Lots of bird chirping. I've got the door open, so you might be able to hear the birds chirping once in a while, because they're pretty loud. My wind chime, I'm going to be putting up more wind chimes here pretty soon. The coyotes at night, okay, so coyotes at night, at PM. And then I've got coyotes, a large pack at PM. So, lots of coyotes. Rain and thunder, more construction. We heard, oh my gosh, the frogs, when that was really raining a lot. You drive by a pond and they're so loud. And then waves when I was at the lake. What I felt, rain, humidity, and then warm sun, wind, fresh air. I know it kind of seems weird to put fresh air is in a feeling, but it just feels different to me when there's fresh air. And then I started working in the garden, so garden dirt. Smell, wet dirt, fishy after bad weather. That was actually after the bad storm. It like cleaned out ditches and ponds and stuff, so it kind of brought up that fishy smell. And then of course the fish at the lake, and then my car smelled like it. I thought it was my car, but it was actually my clothes. So, and then like I said, I didn't do my dream board, which I'm a little bummed about. I kind of went back and forth on it and just wasn't mentally into it. But I will do it later. So, one thing I wanted to say real quick. I noticed, did I point out I put the washi tape that matches the cover that I got from Jess, from my witchy best friend. When I started filling in space, I put my frog, because they're talking about the frog, and then crystals, and then self-love isn't selfish, it's important, and some other little just stickers to try to help boost my mood and put things that made me happy. So I put that in there. Now, I've got these cool little magnetic bookmark things that I use on lots of stuff. And for a while I had it set like that so that I could just open it to the page. It worked great for that. Except that I noticed I wasn't going back through the other months. And I just flipping through, even if I'm not reading, just seeing my writing and all the stickers and stuff that I put in those other months makes a huge difference to my mood. And having that bookmark in there, and it held those pages together, I wasn't flipping through, and I noticed that made a big difference in my mood, and it was crazy. So I took it off, and I have this oracle card that's got the 4 elements that I got from Star, the Wild Witch, and I started using that as the bookmark. And not that I really need it, because I can feel the pages, but it makes it easier. And plus, I really love this card. Alright, so that was March. Not very exciting, but it was okay. Now let's go to April. Okay, so April 2026, I'm a little excited about. We're going to get out of that heavy dream stuff, and we're going to go with high five. The theme for April 2026 is high five. So we'll get to the prompts specifically for that in here in a minute. But so we're going to have our normal message. I don't know what I'm going to use for my message this month. I got a bunch of new decks. I showed a bunch in the last video of the journal video, and then in the last week's video I got 2 new decks at the Spirit Fair, so I've got a bunch of decks I could use. I could go back to my trusty charms. I don't know yet. Of course, I'm going to do what's in my pocket. I moved the go outside to over here. My gratitudes here. Over here, some memories, magic, and then my prompts. Now I'm going to say, I've talked about doing this before, but I might start doing my general prompts, kind of like how I had tried to do for March, where I've got the general prompts here, and then I was gonna do the themed prompts here. Because after I set this up, I realized I kind of wanted more space for, I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, so April 16th is National, oh, you can't see that. April 16th is National High Five Day, which I thought was hilarious. I was trying to come up with a theme for April, and I wanted it kind of exciting and happy. And so sometimes when I do that, I'll look through and see holidays, even just the little weird holidays, or if there's something going on that month that kind of goes with that month. And when I saw National High Five Day was on April 16th, I thought that was perfect. So our prompts are going to be, let's get my notebook here. Who would you like to send a high five to? Long distance, nearby, random. It could be, you know, the waitress at the restaurant, or the guy that held the door open for you at the store, or maybe friends, family, just whoever. It could be something little, something big. A high five to me is just kind of like a instant good job. Doesn't have to be, it can be something big, it can be something small. And then what are some of your high fives, your personal high fives? It could be that you got out of bed. It could be that you did laundry, that you put your clothes away the same day you washed them, whatever. So I thought that was kind of a good theme for April. So let me know how your March went, because mine was a little difficult and a little weird, but I'm still happy with it, and it still makes me happy to flip through it, so I'm all good. So let me know how your March went, and I'm sending you lots of positive energy, and I will see you next time.